on a damp and foggy. We open on a damp and foggy alleyway. A little hiccup. The year is 1888. Amongst the vagrants and tradesmen leaving the corner pub, we see a man underneath a gas lamp check his pocket watch. He gets a few side-eyed looks from passers-by due to his elegant clothing. One can only compare his strange presence in London's Whitechapel district to that of an extraterrestrial in West Virginia. Callback. He's wearing an impeccably tailored suit with a dark waistcoat. His fur-lined overcoat barely touches the stained cobblestone below. His top hat casts a shadow on his face, but a bearded jaw can be made out in the silhouette. He checks his watch again. Midnight, he mumbles to himself. He looks down the alleyway as he returns the watch to his coat pocket. His eyes widen slightly as he sees a woman round a far corner. She's wearing a bright-colored dress with a long feathered scarf. She's one of the many ladies of the night in the district, but he can't help but be drawn to her like a moth to its ultimate demise in a zapper. He watches her make her rounds for 2 weeks. He has watched her make her rounds for 2 weeks. But tonight is different. He backs into the shadows like a cheetah stalking a gazelle. As she walks closer to him, he can't help but also notice her ankles are visible, unlike the many stuck-up women in the Westminster district he calls home. This spectacle excites him further, and he knows that tonight is the night. He can't control his urges anymore. And as she walks by his hiding spot, he reaches into his back pocket. Just as he begins to pull out the contents, a news voice shouts out,
"Oi, look, it's the Ripper. Call the constable."
Everyone on the street turns into the direction the boy is pointing. The man in the shadows fumbles the contents of his pocket and drops it into the light. It is a billfold containing over 100 pounds. A constable walks up to the man, shines a lantern on his face, and says, "Oi, what's all this then?" The man says, I wasn't doing nothing, I swear. The constable looks at the money laying on the ground and then at the courtesan standing nearby. Well, wasn't doing nothing, eh? The constable says as he laughs. As he swings his truncheon at the man, he shouts, "Wait till the boys at Scotland Yard get a load of you." That's live television, baby.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, so they can't talk, can't get my clothes on. So it's just that's the way it is. Fly by the seat of your pants. That's what that is. So how you doing, Matt? It's been a little while since we.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun times since the Mothman. I don't know if you've gotten any you got any fan mail because of the Mothman. Anybody
Not yet.
it'll be there. But see, this is the stuff that I think is really going to put us over the top. Instead of just this crazy Mothman stuff, we're going to get on to some real true crime stuff. I think that's where the money's at. So I think we're getting in on it now. So we're starting out. If anybody's made it this far, this is a new kind of new direction we're taking now. Instead of talking about just crazy Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and moth dudes hanging out in the woods, we're going to start hitting on some real hard hitting stuff. This is going to be we hit on some serial killers, going to hit on some psychopaths, all sorts of crazy things like that. So I hope you guys are ready because we're ready. So tonight we're going to start with we're going into Jack the Ripper. That's the man. That's like if you're going to start with the serial killers, Jack the Ripper is the guy you got to start with. I don't know. Is he the first serial killer? I don't know. Is there a guy before him? Do you know?
I mean, not a more famous one before him. I think he's the man.
Yeah, I think he's the guy. I don't know if there's anybody before him. I think he's the one that set the scene. So, and nobody knows who he is. So he didn't even.
He got away with it.
Yeah, he got away. So I don't know. I think that man is. He could still be around. he could still be out there. Who knows? He could have got it all figured out. But so Jack the Ripper. Where do you start? You got to start in the 1888 Victorian England. That's the place. You got to look at Whitechapel. Whitechapel is the hub of Jack the Ripper. And if you don't know about Whitechapel, this is a borough in the east end of London. This was under the rule of Queen Victoria in 1888. So we're going back in time to Queen Victoria. Just kind of an overview of what happened with Jack the Ripper. He killed at least 5 prostitutes. There's the 5, they're called the canonical 5. So these are the ones that we know that we have a pretty good idea that he had something to do with. So there's 5 prostitutes that he killed and mutilated. So that's he not only killed them, he also cut up their bodies and took a lot of their organs and stuff like that. So this guy, this guy he went all there. He had a little something wrong with him. No, so like Matt was saying, no one knows who he was. No one knows what happened to him. And he's probably the most infamous serial killer in England's history. I can't think of any other. I don't know. I might just be stupid. I don't know. I can't think of any other British serial killers off the top of my head. So we're going to London, Whitechapel, 1888. So let's get the scene. So I've got a photo of the East End in London. This is kind of like just kind of set the area of where we are. So this is London's East End, which it's a very poor place. It's very run down. A lot of slums, a lot of stuff like a lot of people kind of piled up on top of each other. So this is kind of a place that a lot of immigrants came from, like other parts of Europe, and they kind of settled in this area. Specifically, there was a lot of Eastern European Jews as they fled persecution. They kind of filled this place up. So you have a lot of those. There's a lot of temples and synagogues kind of around the area too, along with kind of like this kind of cluster that you kind of see going on here. One of the things that one of the other big pieces of this too is there was kind of like a sweatshop system in the area too. And there was kind of a famous revolt, or kind of like a strike of these girls called the Match Girls. They were working in these factories to make matches, and so part of that was phosphorus that would go on the matches, and so they would get this thing called Phossy Jaw, which looks like this, which is so like it would get inside of your system, and it would literally rot the part, like the bottom part of your face off. And so these girls that were doing this, because most of the people that worked were actually women, so there was a lot of women workers around the area at the time. So this was at this Match Girl strike was at the Brighton May Match Factory in July of 1888. So these girls were kind of rebelling against or protesting the conditions in the factories down there. Because I mean, if you're working in a factory all day and you've got to deal with this too on top of that, then that's not really a good outlook. So like I said, it's called Phossy Jaw, and it comes from inhaling the vapor of phosphorus. And so it's particularly when the ingredient is heated. So that's where this I wouldn't call it a disease. I guess it's like a work. I don't know what you would. It's just bad. You don't want it.
It's like a chemical reaction type thing.
Yeah. It's pretty tough. So kind of all like in this kind of like all this same area too. You've got these. There's a couple other things that kind of happened around the same time that kind of set the scene for a killer to go around killing prostitutes. So in 1885, Parliament passed this thing called the Criminal Law Amendment Act, which was supposed to be. The intention was it was going to protect women and girls. And it did this by eliminating brothels. So they were like, well, we're going to protect these women and girls, so we're going to shut the brothels down. But they didn't really think, well, if you shut the brothels down, where are all the prostitutes going to go?
On the streets.
Yeah, so they just put them on the street. So now instead of having these brothels, you've got all these prostitutes just up on the street everywhere. And it's like it set the scene perfectly for a guy to go around killing all of them. So it kind of backfired on whatever.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, it's like the butterfly effect. You shut the brothels down, this is what's going to happen. So the other part of the act was it raised the age of consent from 13 to 16, which it's like good work, guys.
It's a little better.
Yeah, so they were I guess I don't know where they were going with that one. So the thing too is that even though you have all these prostitutes on the street now, the police didn't want to enforce these laws because they didn't really see prostitution as an issue, because they got in so much trouble enforcing these like prostitution laws, because there was a case called the Elizabeth Class case. This was in 1887, where constables they arrested this woman for she was out selling flowers, but they arrested her for soliciting, like she was prostituting herself, and she kept saying no, I'm innocent. So she kind of pleaded her innocence the whole way through it, and the magistrate at the time discharged her, and then he noted that her occupation was prostitute, and he said, "Hey, you're a prostitute," and and she was like, "No, I wasn't prostituting myself." So then her employer told her that she needs to protest her innocence more, and so then this kind of all got blown up. There was a lot of publicity around it, saying like, "Hey, the police arrested this lady and called her a prostitute," so then all the police department just looked foolish and they looked stupid for arresting this lady. So then after that, all the constables and all the police were just hesitant to arrest anybody for prostitution. They would only go after someone if there was like a specific complaint against that person. So they would say like, okay, we're not going to arrest anybody unless someone specifically says, yeah, they did something or they're out there prostituting. So they just kind of let all this stuff happen. So you've got the streets full of prostitutes just working the tricks, turning tricks, just living it up, and a bunch of cops just not really caring, just being like, all right, yeah, you all do whatever you want. That's like,
keep it moving.
Yeah, keep it along, moving along. So yeah, this is just a recipe for a crazy serial killer to go around killing prostitutes. So getting into kind of the main event that we're here to talk about, the first thing that happens is you have this lady, Emma Smith. This is the best picture we have of her. There wasn't a photographer around, so you got this photo. So she survived an attack by a gang of men on April 3rd, 1888. And she was attacked pretty bad. And two women in her lodging house told her to go to the hospital on Whitechapel Road because she was. I will get to what happened to her in a minute, but it was bad. So at the hospital, she reported to the doctors that she'd been beaten and robbed by 4 men. One of them was a teenager. She died the next morning on April 4th. And so when they examined her body, it was discovered that a blunt object had been forcibly inserted into her vagina, which ruptured her abdominal cavity. While this incident isn't considered a Ripper event, like it wasn't Jack the Ripper, it was the first case.
It was definitely a Ripper event, but
it's bad. So this was the first case that would become part of this. This is the first case that would become the Whitechapel murders file, which is the case file that would eventually become the Jack the Ripper file. So this is pretty brutal. So I mean, this is the type of stuff that's going on around this area. So it's not like I don't know. It's not like what we would think of as like a kind of like a bad part of town. This is some brutal stuff that's kind of happening in this.
It's like Chicago, one of the worst of years.
yeah. It's where nobody has guns. Everybody's got knives and stuff. It's pretty.
And just random things shoving in people.
Yeah. It's not a good place to live. So then the next thing that happens kind of around that area. So this is kind of a person who may be associated with the Ripper case or may not be. Some people consider this the first victim, but some people argue that this has nothing to do with Jack the Ripper. So there's a lady, her name's Martha Tabram. There's no photo of her. There's no picture or drawing of her or anything. So she was a prostitute in her late 30s. So on April 6, 1888, her and her friend, Mary Ann Connolly, picked up 2 soldiers and then split up. So then the next morning, her body is found by a guy named John Reeves. She was found on the landing of the George's Yard buildings with her legs open and arms by her side, and she was stabbed 39 times. So she was dead. There were searches for the soldiers that her and her friend Mary had picked up, but there was a multiple lineups. No one ever found the soldiers; they were never identified. But 2 witnesses passed by George's Yard that morning where she was found, and they didn't see a body. Then a number of the detectives on the Ripper case think that she was the first victim. So some of the detectives that work in the case think that she may have been the first victim, but this isn't really a way to know. It's kind of debated.
It's not definitively canon.
Right. So it could have been. It didn't really fit kind of like the trend or the MO of the actual Ripper victims. She wasn't really mutilated or anything. She was just stabbed a lot. But I mean, going off of the first case, the Emma Smith case, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of crazy dudes. It sounds like in this place that might have done something like this. But one of the theories too is that it could have been the Ripper. It's just he hadn't really figured out his style yet. He was just kind of getting started. Maybe he got scared.
He was just playing around.
Yeah, he's just testing the waters. I mean, I've heard of like some serial killers doing that, where like they'll do like the first one will be kind of just a test, just to see if they want to do it. So it could be. Who knows? So now we're getting into this is the meat and potatoes. This is the first the first canonical victim that when you look up the Jack the Ripper case, you're gonna. This is a real photo. This is her photo, her death photo. This is Marianne Nichols. She's the first canonical victim of Jack the Ripper. So kind of a little history about her is she was separated from her husband. She was married for 25 years and she had 5 children by 1881. So after she separates from her husband, she turns to alcohol pretty bad. She just kind of goes on a spiral from there. She goes into poverty. She becomes an alcoholic. So you'll notice this is kind of a trend of a lot of these people. It's just kind of they have this life and then they just either it's like because of alcohol or because of poverty, they've just kind of spiraled out and they just have like the worst life. And it's just pretty rough. And it's just sad they come to these ends like this. So she lives in the East End, the Whitechapel area. She lives kind of in 2 different lodging houses. She kind of moves back and forth there. So a lodging house is pretty common for these women to stay in. It's just kind of like a common house or like a almost
cheap
like a
housing.
Yeah, it's like a motel or something almost.
But 10 times worse.
Yeah. It's like a crazy roach motel. So they so she was living in 2 different lodging houses. She was kind of moved back and forth. During the day, she would work as a maid sometimes. But while she was working as a maid, she would steal all the stuff. She would steal stuff from the people she was working for, just to kind of make money. So the night that she is murdered, she didn't have enough money to stay at the lodging house, and so she was out on the street. So she was gonna start prostituting herself just to make money, which was common for her. That's something she would normally do if she was running low on money or she needed to buy drinks. She would go out and prostitute. The last thing that people noticed about her is that she was wearing her bonnet that she would wear to try to lure the clients. So that was like the last thing that she said. And the last thing that somebody heard from her saying was that she would get her DOS money. She said like she would get her DOS money. Look at my jolly bonnet. And DOS money would be like that was like her lodging money.
Yeah, the bonnet was like bright red too, so it was like supposed to attract,
Yeah, it's like a peacock. It's kind of like the same lighting. She had her big bright red bonnet, and she's
here's
get her money.
Bonnet, come get me.
Yeah. So I guess if you got to do what you got to do. So at 2:30 in the morning, her friend Emily Holland meets up with her, and her friend Emily notes that Mary was very drunk, and she told Emily that she had made her lodging money 3 times over, but she had spent all of it. So she made a bunch of money to put in her lodging house, and now she drinks it all.
Spend it all on alcohol.
Yeah. So hey, it's like I know some people like that. It's not too far off. So her friend is like, all right, you're drunk. So her friend tries to convince her to come back to the lodging house, and Mary refuses. And she says, no, I got to make my money back. So she goes back out. She's going to prostitute some more. And that was the last time that anyone had seen her alive. So then later that morning at 3:45, a body is found lying next to the gateway at Bucks Row by a guy named Charles Cross. He was going into work off of Whitechapel Road. So this was Mary's body. So Charles Cross finds her body lying in a gateway. So he sees his friend across the street. And he calls out to him, and they arranged her skirt so she wasn't exposed. They're trying to be
very gentlemanly.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you bloomers,
can't show the ankles.
Yeah. So they fixed her up. They made her look nice. So they decided they were just going to keep walking to work. So they just left her. They were like, they were just wanting to tell the first policeman that they saw. So they just left and they were going to go find a policeman. They ran into a guy named Jonas Meisen, who was a policeman. They saw him on Baker's Row, and they told him about what they saw. So at the same time, while they're talking to this guy, Meisen, another police officer, John Neal, he discovers the body. And so as he was just kind of walking around patrolling, he calls another officer, John Tane. And so him and John Neal and John Tane, they're both with the body. Then Joseph Meisen shows up, the cop that was sent by the other two guys. And then Tane goes to a house to call a doctor. So all tonight now the body's been found. It's a crime scene now. So even though her body was found at Bucks Row, which is a row of houses, so there's some houses around there. No one heard any sounds or anything that morning. No one heard like any screams or anything like that. So no one was really aware that anything was kind of happening at this area, and that could just be because I know the streets are pretty crowded and stuff anyway. So it could be a lot of noise,
normal night noise.
Yeah. So who knows? And like, I guess there's like drunk people walking around. I guess people are used to hearing screams and stuff like throughout the night. So on her body, they find a comb, a handkerchief, and a piece of a broken mirror. So that's all she was carrying around. Dr. Llewellyn, that's the guy who examined her. He determined that she was killed in the same spot that she was found because her blood was flowing into a gutter at the same time. So he thinks she was killed right there. It wasn't like she was killed somewhere else and brought there. She was definitely killed there. Her face was bruised. So she had some bruises on her face. There was a cut across her abdomen, and her throat was cut down to the spine. And the wound was so bad and that the newspaper reports the next morning said that her head had been severed completely from the body. So she'd been sliced in her neck pretty bad. And then when they brought her to the mortuary, they found that she wasn't cut in the neck, but she'd also been disemboweled. Pretty brutal. So she was well known. Like I said, she was well known in the area. She had a lot of friends. Her nickname was Polly, so that's what everyone knew her by. And all the people that knew her were pretty shattered about hearing about her death. So, like I said, there was a lot. She's pretty well known. So it was kind of sad news around the whole neighborhood when they found out that she died. So then, after she had died, her father, ex-husband, and her son, they paid for her funeral. So she's buried in London's city cemetery, which is better than some of these other people we're going to read about. So she got a proper burial at least. So like I said, this kind of started like the Ripper stuff. I mean, this case by itself was pretty bad, but they didn't really know what all was about to start happening. So the newspapers did hear about this story and they did report on it, but they just attributed it to a one-off kind of crazy guy. Because I mean, you have all these other cases that have happened before this, so they didn't really think too much of this one. They're just like, oh,
it's almost normal work.
Yeah, they're just like these crazy dudes running around chopping up people. So this is just another one. We'll find him eventually. He'll turn up. So like I said, this is kind of like normal news at the time. This wasn't anything too out of the ordinary. But it wasn't until then. But you get another one. So the second victim is Annie Chapman. So you see it written as Anne. I've heard it pronounced Anne and Annie. So I don't know if this is I don't really know which was. Oh, sorry. This is this picture that I'm showing. This is Mary Nichols as well. And that's this picture right here is Bucks Row. So that's where she would have been found. So this is just kind of part of the first story I was telling. So this is Annie Chapman here. So there's a photo of her when she was alive. This is a picture of her and her husband, and that's her death photo as well. So you can kind of get an idea of what she looked like. So obviously, so Annie Chapman, she was 47 years old and she was very short. She was only 5 feet tall. So that's pretty small. She also had children. She had 3 children, but her youngest daughter died at 12 due to meningitis. So that kind of threw her a loop and kind of tore her apart. She was also separated from her husband. She separated from him in 1885 because both of them were pretty bad alcoholics. So they both had pretty bad drinking problems. It was probably after their daughter had died. So I think that kind of hit them both pretty hard. So they both started drinking. So even though they were separated, she did get an allowance from him. But after he died in 1886. She turned to prostitution to kind of supplement her income. So she kind of the same story. So because she stayed at Crossingham's lodging house. This was at Dorset Street. So she was kind of in the same boat as our first victim. So there's some reports that she was in a relationship with a man at the lodging house named Edward Stanley, and he would pay her rent sometimes. And then she would also kind of do some crocheting and stuff on the side to kind of get some income as well. She would also work as a flower seller. And she would only, I've seen some stuff that she'd only engage in prostitution casually. It wasn't like something she did full time. She only did it as like a side gig. It's just like doing Uber on the side or something. I guess that's the popular income down there. So you get these people doing OnlyFans now. This is like before that. This is like the nitty gritty stuff. It's like this is who you really want to go for it. So September 8th. This is when she's this is the day of her death. So she was seen drinking beer in the kitchen of her lodging house. This is at midnight. She was heard talking about her lodging house manager. His name was Tim Donovan, and she was explaining that she didn't have any money, and that he should hold her bed for her because she was going to go out and prostitute and make money to pay for her bed that night. So people heard her talking to him. The night watchman, his name was John Evans. He said he saw her leave the boarding house at 1:30, and she was walking towards Spitalfield Market. It's like the market area. Kind of in the East End. I saw another story where someone saw her before that in the kitchen eating a potato. So it's kind of weird because it's like the timelines. A lot of this stuff is a little wonky because it's like some people say like we saw her doing this. Some people will say like we saw her doing this, and so you never know. It's because they're talking to so many people. So it's kind of all over the place, but the best timeline we have is that she left around 1:30 and she was walking towards the marketplace. And then at 5:30 in the morning, Elizabeth Long, who was another lady kind of in the area, she saw Annie speaking with a man at 29 Hanbury Street. The man had his back turned towards Elizabeth, but she was reported hearing him say, "Will you?" To which Annie replied, "Yes." So it was Elizabeth assumed that this was a guy like propositioning her, and she was like going to agree to go with him. Elizabeth describes the man that Annie was talking to as being over 40 years old. He was slightly taller than Chapman. So keep in mind, Chapman's about 5 feet tall. So he was only slightly taller than her. So he was probably short too. He was like
5'3".
Yeah, like 5'3". This is a shorter dude. He had dark hair. He was described as a shabby genteel appearance. So he's very shabby. He was wearing a broken low crown felt hat and possibly a dark coat. And so it's pretty, I haven't really seen any like people like disputing this. I think it's pretty well like established that this guy is probably the one that killed her. I think it's like, I haven't really seen anybody say it probably isn't this guy. Cause I mean, this is the last guy that she was seen with. And it's like, she's found shortly after this. So I think this is the guy. I think Elizabeth saw the guy. I think this is Jack the Ripper. I think this is him.
Yeah. The boy.
So keep in mind, I think he's 5'3".
No wonder he's depicted with the top hat all the time.
He's got like what's that guy from you remember the Fairly Odd Parents, Doug Dimmadome with that really
yeah, it has like a 10-foot hat.
Yeah, I think that's Jack the Ripper. I think he was compensating with that big old hat.
You got to be wearing a hat like that.
Yeah, if you're 5'3" going around killing people, you gotta look tall, man. You can't be walking around like that. So maybe that's why it's like that. What's that like Napoleon complex that they always say? He's mad.
Now they say he wasn't short, but
yeah,
I don't know. You name a whole complex after someone, they got to be short.
Yeah. me and you are biased. We're biased against short people.
I mean, I feel like most people are short compared to us, but that's just
Yeah, so this is like a short hate stream. We're just bashing on all y'all. So this is the guy. This is him. I'm putting my money on the table. I think this is him. I think this was him that they saw. So after she was spotted with this man, the son of so this is on 29 Hanbury Street. I have a picture of this as well. So this is where we're at. This is the scene. This is 29 Hanbury Street. This is inside the building. This is the backyard of the place. So we're right in it. So the son of a resident at 29 Hanbury Street, his name's John Richardson. He enters the backyard of the property. So this is the backyard. So this guy walks out back there, John Richardson. He's checking to see if the cellar door is still padlocked, and he was going to trim some leather off of his boot. So he was just piddling around at 5 a.m. So he goes out to the cellar. He says, "Yep, the cellar's padlocked," and then he sits on the steps. So he sits on the steps. Oh, sorry, I'm completely screwing this up. He is the. Yeah, I'm right. I'm confused. Going to Hanbury Street. He's there. He's going out to the padlock. This is fine. Yeah, he's outside. He's looking at the padlock. He doesn't see anybody. Nobody's there. So this is 5 a.m. Nobody's outside. So then at 5:15 a.m., a tenant of 27 Hanbury Street, that's next door. His name is Albert Kadosh. I don't know what kind of name that is. He enters the yard. He's out back. He's beside the fence next door, and he's peeing. So he's outside at 5 a.m. peeing. And he says that he hears a woman on this side of the fence saying no, no. So he thinks he hears somebody, and then he hears the sound of something falling against the fence, which is right here. And so he doesn't do anything about this. He just hears someone saying,
it and just walks away.
Yeah. So he's over here. He hears somebody on this side of the fence saying no, then slam against the fence, and he just goes back inside. Doesn't do anything. So he literally hears the murder happen. He could have caught Jack the Ripper. He was right beside him, just letting him kill somebody. So then at 6 a.m, on this side of the fence in this yard, this is 29 Hanbury Street. Annie's body is discovered by a third floor resident. And so he calls people across the street, and he goes to the Commercial Street Police Station to report the body. So when the police arrive, they examine the body, and they discover that Annie's body, her neck was cut with a sharp knife, and the wound went all the way around her neck, similar to Mary. So this guy cut across the neck.
It lines up. I
think it's the same guy. The blood was on the ground by her head, and there was also blood on the fence, probably where she got slammed against the fence. That the guy that didn't hear anything, the guy that didn't do anything about it, he
ignored.
Yeah, he just kind of let it happen. So her blood was, like I said, blood was on the ground, blood was on the fence. Her killer also cut her abdomen open, and her intestines were removed and placed by her shoulder. So
it's lining up.
Yeah, it's lining up, disemboweled, same way as the first victim. Yeah. So this is her uterus, upper parts of her vagina, and the majority of her bladder had been removed, but were not at the scene. They were taken. So
put in a jar.
It could be. That's what it is. It could be it's like a crazy science experiment that this guy was running. So
he's got some weird collection.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, who knows where he's putting that stuff. So yeah, he's got that. He took that with him. So on her body were 2 pills that Chapman had been prescribed for a lung condition. She had a section of a torn envelope. She had a small piece of frayed coarse muslin, which is like a fabric. She had a comb, and then near her body there was a leather apron submerged in a dish of water under a tap that was discovered by her body. That becomes important. There was a rumor that 2 farthings, like 2 coins, were found near her body. But this isn't in any of the police reports. Because there's a memoir by a guy named Major Henry Smith who was on the police force, and he said that there was these 2 coins near her body. Because there's a lot of like you almost call it like fan fiction from the time, like people were writing about these things, and they would say like there was coins like on the people's eyes, like boatman or whatever. But none of that is true. So there's a lot of rumors about that. So this is so then Dr. Phillips, that's the guy who examined her. This is what he has to say. This is how he described the body. He said the left arm was placed across the left breast, the legs were drawn up, and the feet resting on the ground. The knees turned outwards. The face was swollen and turned to the right, or turned on the right side. The tongue was protruded between the front teeth, but not beyond the lips. The tongue was evidently much swollen. The front teeth were perfect as far as the first molar. The body was terribly mutilated. The stiffness of the limbs was not marked, but was evidently commencing. He noticed that their throat was dissevered deeply, that the incisions through the skin were jagged and reached right around the neck. So she was cut up. She was dissected. I mean, it's like just talking about it. It's like it's pretty wild. It's pretty brutal. That I keep saying brutal. I gotta think of a different word. It's bad. So I gotta get my thesaurus out.
Yeah, and the body's displayed.
Yeah. It's like it's just laid out. It's like a bad science experiment. It's pretty scary that somebody would even do something like this. So I brought up the leather apron. So the leather apron kind of starts this whole rumor of kind of around the area. So because at the body there was a leather apron discovered next to the body underneath this tap in a wash bin. So rumors around this start going around, but the leather has nothing to do with the crime. It belonged to John Richardson. His mother put the apron outside just to wash it, and she just happened to leave it under the tap. The police investigated John, who owned the apron, and they determined this guy had nothing to do with it. He just lived there. But news caught wind about this apron, so everybody starts talking about this leather apron. So rumors kind of spread from the newspaper called The Star at the time. This was kind of a popular newspaper. This is kind of one of the newspapers that started a lot of these crazy rumors. So they said that there was a Jew from the district known as Leather Apron, and he was responsible for all the murders. So they just blame it on this random guy. So it's like you notice a lot of the times too, it's like the newspapers are getting frustrated with all this stuff going on. So it's like they just start making up
stuff.
yeah, just to kind of keep their stuff flying off the shelves. It's like a National Enquirer that these people are doing. So there was a guy named John Pfizer. He was a 38-year-old Polish Jew who made footwear from leather, and he just happened to have the nickname Leather Apron. So everybody was like, "Oh, there he is!" so he starts getting harassed like crazy. But he wasn't. It wasn't like he was a good guy. He was a pretty bad guy too. He would threaten and intimidate prostitutes at knife point. So it's not like this guy was some innocent dude. He was pretty bad too. He got charged with assault a lot. He also stabbed a dude in the hand in 1887. So
he earned his nickname.
Yeah. So this guy's not like he's not just an innocent dude. So he does get arrested. The cops do question him, but he has a good alibi for the night of the murder, both murders, both Chapman and Nichols. And he use him as a witness too in Chapman's murder so he can clear his name. So he's not just so they can kind of get rid of him. So then you can see too. This is some pictures of. These are some of the news articles at the time. So they're all in on this Leather Apron thing. So there's a lot of stuff about Leather Apron.
There you go. There's your new word, ghastly.
Yeah, there you go. Ghastly. Ghastly.
Ghastly murders.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to say it. So here we are. We've got two victims. We've got this false story about this guy, Leather Apron. It's like, but it's still the same. It's like nothing has happened to connect these two murders yet. It's like so far you get these two murders that are pretty ghastly, but nothing to connect them. They're kind of similar, but guess what? Guess what happens next? The police receive, or the newspaper, the Central News Agency receives this. This is called this is what's known as the Dear Boss letter. So on September 27th, the Central News Agency receives this letter. It's written in red ink. So this is what the letter said. We're going to read. It says, "Dear Boss, I don't know. I don't want to read a British accent. I don't want to be. I don't. You want to make about it.
Put the constable hat back on.
Yeah, I'm the police reading the letter. I'm not the killer. It's like, oh, this is what the letter says. Dear boss, I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have laughed when they look so clever and talk about being on the right track. That joke about leather apron gave me real fits. I'm down on oars and I shan't quit ripping them until I get buckled. Grand work the last job was. I gave the lady no time to squeal. How can they catch me now? I love my work and I want to start again. You will soon hear of me from my funny little games. I'll save some of the proper red stuff in ginger beer bottle over the last job to write with it. It went thick like glue and I can't use it. Red ink is fit enough, I hope. The next job I do, I shall clip the lady's ears off and send them to the police officers just for a jolly, wouldn't you? Keep this letter back till I do a bit more work, then give it out straight. My knife's so sharp. My knife's so nice and sharp, I want to get to work right away if I get a chance. Good luck. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper.
The Ripper.
Don't mind me giving the trade name. P.S. Wasn't good enough to post this before I got all the red ink off my hands. Curse it, no luck yet. They say I'm a doctor now.
There you go.
So now he has a name. So this is where the name Jack the Ripper originates. So you've got this letter claiming to be the one that killed the two ladies. So this is where it really starts. It's like, oh, now we got a name. We got a guy. He's out here. He's wreaking havoc. That's pretty. That's it. It's like that's pretty conclusive. That's him. It's like if he just comes right out and says it, that's him. It's like that's him. So I don't know. That's like because we'll do a different we'll do multiple parts of this where we kind of go into like some of the suspects and stuff, and it's like we can talk about our theories about this. My theory is that this letter is not real.
It's another fanfic letter.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think this is really the killer. I think this is somebody screwing around. So a lot of people think this is real. That this is really him, but I'm going against the grain. I don't think this is him. I think this is some prankster.
I mean, either you got to be really dumb or really bold to do something like that. And like, I don't know, with the type of events and the type of murders that it was, like, I don't think this guy was stupid enough to play tricks and like try to, make the police more angry or,
Yes, my theory is that this guy was doing it for the love of the game. He liked cutting up people. I don't think he cared about
the chase.
Yeah, I don't think he cared about goofing on the police officers.
Yeah.
I don't think this is. I think this is like some Cockney chimney sweep who just wanted to write a prank letter. He's like, "Oh, I'm doing good right there. Look at this one."
Yeah, I mean, it could also be one of the copycats that come later as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's like it could have been. Like I said, I don't think this is the guy. I think this is somebody pretending to be the guy.
Yeah.
Either they're trying to play a prank, or they're just they want it. They're
a fanboy.
Yeah, they're fanboying on it. So that kind of brings us to that's the crux. We've got Whitechapel. We've got this crazy area. We've got multiple dead women. We've got two confirmed victims of this guy. We'll call him Jack the Ripper. That's the official. That's kind of the popular name. It's like that. That's what this letter says. But see, I don't think. See, that's why I'm going against the grain. I don't think Jack the Ripper wants the name Jack the Ripper. I don't think that's him. I think this is just. This is a false flag. This isn't really Jack the Ripper. This is some other guy. So I think we're here, and so this is where we're going to stop. We're going to keep y'all on a cliffhanger. It's like, what's going to happen next? We already know he's not going to get caught. So I don't got a good ending, but we can. We've got like I said, there's 5 victims. So we've touched. We've got 3 more, and then we're going to hit on our suspects. I don't know. Leave a comment. Who do you think it is?
Yeah. Also, we got to figure out if the the heights are public too. We got to look for that 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah, that's right. You want to look at the suspect. You see if there's a really short guy. The short guy might be the one.
He's the one.
Yeah, I think that's the guy. I think that's the first step is look at the heights and then look at see how shabby they look. You need a shabby short guy. That's Jack.
Shabby, dark-haired, short guy.
Yeah, we'll find him. He's still out there. We'll catch him. All right, folks. I appreciate you from tuning in. We're gonna hit Jack the Ripper hard next time. We're gonna go after him. He ain't gonna stand a chance against this. This is hard hitting journalism. We're gonna uncover him.
They couldn't solve it, but we can.
Yeah, we're gonna solve it. Me and Matt are gonna solve this thing, whether you guys think we will or not. We're gonna do it. The first time here, we're gonna go above and beyond where everyone else is falling short. We're gonna unmask.
We'll get it.
That's the third episode, Jack the Ripper Unmasked. We're gonna figure it out.
Now you're talking.
Untop. That top hat's coming off, and we're gonna see. Rip it up.